I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so very much for joining me on this Friday evening. Those of you that will catch it live, those of you that will catch it later, we sure do appreciate the support. All right, super excited about tonight's show. I've been talking it up for a little while now. I've got the writer and director, as well as one of the lead actors and an executive producer of the movie The Woodman backstage. They are ready to come out and answer any questions you guys might have. Going to be playing the trailer for you guys here in just a minute. But before we get there, you guys know how it all works. See who all we got here. Tea Time with Tiffany. What's up, ma'am? How are you doing? Carson, good to see you, buddy. Grasshopper, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Everyone is dwindling in. More of our regulars will be stopping by, I am sure, as we get going. All right, everybody out there that has not done so, I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. Getting closer and closer to that 2,000 mark, almost there, and need the help to get there. So if y'all haven't done so, please share and spread the word, all that good stuff. I would appreciate it. If you have had an encounter and like to come on and share it with me, I would love to talk to you about that. Shoot me an email to wayne@paranormalworldproductions.com. That is the first step to getting on here and sharing your encounter, your experiences. All right, I want to mention paranormalworldproductions.com, the studio that we all work for. If you would head over there and show some support to the studio, all the other shows, this one, Sasquatch Odyssey, True Crime Odyssey, Basement Hangout, Kentucky X-Files, all those guys do a wonderful job. If you haven't done so, please go to the website and check them out. I would appreciate it. As always, everybody, if you have any questions tonight for Joshua or Hunter, we would appreciate very much if you would put those in all caps. They are expecting the questions, so feel free to send them over, but just please put those in all caps. Makes it a little bit easier for me to see, to get to. And as always, guys, if I don't ask your question and a little bit of time goes by, it's just because I didn't see it. If you don't mind, type it out again, but please put them in all caps. It gets a little crazy when you're doing this by yourself at times, so I have been known to miss a question, but it's not on purpose. So time goes by, I don't ask it, type it up again. All right, I believe that is all of that. I don't know of anything else I wanted to talk about. So what I think I'm going to do is pull up the trailer and let you guys have a look at it. And then after I play the trailer, I will bring them on. And here we go.
Hi, my name is Dr. Scott LaRoche, Doctor of Anthropology. I received an email with a link to a somewhat disturbing YouTube video of a couple being attacked in their camp up in the mountains of Tennessee.
What's up, guys? It's Connor from Bigfoot Anonymous, and we're in the Appalachian Mountains. We've been researching for the past few months after there's been a plethora of cryptid encounters in this area.
All right. There you go. Let's bring on Mr. Joshua and Mr. Hunter. How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing very, very well. Very well. Joshua, do I have you? And Hunter, do I have you?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep. Here you guys both. Very, very good. How you doing tonight, guys? I appreciate it. We've been working on this for a little while. Had to postpone it once or twice, but we got you here. How's it going?
Well, it's going great here for sure. I mean, I always love seeing that teaser trailer. It's really cool. So.
Yep. Same here. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just actually currently on vacation with my family right now, but taking some time to jump on and talk about this with you guys. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Now, Joshua, you are the writer and director.
Yep.
And Hunter, you are one of the leads in the movie, as well as an executive producer. You are a part of the production company. Hunter, go ahead and tell us a little bit about that company.
Well, the company's called Horror Dads Productions. I'm an actor for them, but basically just a group of dads that work, work regular day jobs as well. And we decided that we wanted to get together and start making movies. And we've been very fortunate and blessed in the movies we've made to be on multiple streaming platforms and seen by a lot of people that love them and, love what we do. So I couldn't ask for anything better when we get to get together and make projects like these.
Very cool. Very cool. Joshua, where did the idea for this movie come from?
Kind of like we chatted a little bit before. I've been a fan of just all things strange, I guess would be the way that I put it, since I was a little kid. I think when I was maybe 8 years old, my stepmom visited her family out east. She came back with a magazine or a book called Weird New Jersey, if anybody's familiar with that at all. Mm-hmm. And I read a bunch of stories in that, and I was like, holy God. And it kind of like opened this whole idea. And then, eventually just inundated myself with all sorts of cryptids. This is why I kind of tackled Mothman with my first film. It's just because it's something that always interested me. And I felt like if I was going to make a movie, it's got to be something that I am interested in and something that I feel personally passionate about. And for the Woodmen particularly, here the past few years, I've been pretty interested in the 411 series that David Paulides put out. And I know he's not a huge fan of talking about what's kind of going on. He just has, his set of rules or his criteria that certain disappearances have to meet. But I thought the idea that feral humans have something to do with it was an interesting one, and I felt it was something that needed to be tackled, especially in the found footage horror genre.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of the people watching here noticed that, when I played the trailer, the very first person or the second person you see there is Mr. Connor Flynn. Connor is a friend of the show. He is a buddy of mine. He's been on a couple of times. He was a speaker at my annual camping event that I hold every year. He was a speaker last year at it, and he's been doing a lot of stuff. How'd you guys get hooked up with Connor? Either one of you.
Sorry about that. I was interrupted. Go ahead again. I apologize.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, talk to you, dude.
I mean, I don't know how he got hooked up with Connor. That'd be him. I just met Connor.
Oh, okay.
Now
Yeah. So,
I love him.
So sorry about that, guys. I am actually hiding birthday presents in the van right now for my kid. I'm trying to wrestle them right now. Anyways, when it comes to Connor, he actually approached me, and he asked to be a part of it, and that's kind of like how our relationship kind of got started there. And I said, yeah, I'd love to have you on, because he seemed super ambitious. He was a go-getter, and he really came to life on set and really helped us out. So it was something that I was blessed enough to have him in, and his actual inclusion in the film itself happened just hours before we filmed those scenes, because we had somebody miss a flight that came out, and we had no idea that, but we really didn't know what to do. And then Connor kind of stepped up, and him and the other actress that he shares a scene with, Bailey Harrington, they kind of worked something out. They kind of took what we scripted, and they kind of went from there. So it worked out.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and and that's just kind of how I met Connor. Was on set of the movie, and he kind of told me that he ended up getting the part because of the actor who missed a flight, and I'm glad he did, man, because he's one cool guy. And I'm looking at the all the comments and stuff. It seems like everybody loves him, so he's a good guy. I want as many friends as Connor has.
Yeah, Connor, he's a ball of energy, man. I don't know how he does it. He's all over the place.
More than I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter, how many? You and I talked briefly before, and you had shared with me that acting is really your passion. Are these the only movies that you've ever acted in, and is that your goal to something that you want to pursue long term?
Oh, I don't think I'll ever stop acting. That is, like you said, one of my biggest passions to do. It just makes me happy. I definitely don't feel like I'm working by any means. I have a lot of fun doing it. I've been in several movies now. A lot of cameo appearances. This is the first time I was really a bigger character for sure. But ever since this movie, I've had a lot of people reach out, and just for different things. I don't know if it's posts or stuff. I've been on the news for it, and so I'm just been very blessed with everything that's been coming this way. And but no, I've been in like Mothman, Tahoe Joe, cameo appearances, The Woodman, Ghost, and the list goes on. There's other stuff. Just a brief little cameo in a movie called Macabre Mountain. That's not found footage though. But I don't know. It's insane the amount of stuff I've been in all of a sudden. That's just kind of like, I can't even wrap my head around how busy I've been lately. I'm in like 3 in the next week and a half. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Joshua.
Yes.
Now, as you kind of stated, the movie it's found footage based. Do you find that is that more challenging a top movie to make, or is that a little bit easier, would you say?
Well, to be honest, it's the only thing I've made. I've never actually worked a set where we shot anything traditionally. From the pre-production side and then the actual production side, I would say it is fairly easier. Just having conversations with fellow filmmakers and everything like that. Us being full-time workers, out in the field and everything like that for our own day jobs and stuff. like long stretches of time are hard to come by, especially when you got to like earn vacation and stuff. So, and found footage films are fairly easier and quicker to shoot. So, that also helps because, I can only get like 5 days off in a row every so often. So we got to kind of work with that. And I think that is something that I'm going to stick with for a while because it's also something that I love too. I fell in love with found footage when I first watched Blair Witch back when I was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
And it's really the most interesting type of horror to me personally. I know some people just absolutely do not like it. It turns them off totally. But then I also know people that is like the only stuff they watch. So it's kind of niche a little bit, but yeah, I would say it's fairly easy because you don't have a whole lot to set up. You don't have a lot of downtime that is consumed by moving cameras around and things like that, moving lighting. We did some lighting and stuff like that for Woodman, but not a whole lot. I mean, kind of rely on the environment. And yeah, it's just a lot easier to work with. We can run and gun. We don't have to, block anything out really. So it helped a lot. It helps us, small time production guys to get movies done and to do them well too. So
yeah, I would imagine so. I've talked about it a couple times on this show. My regulars that have heard the story, but my daughter, I've got a 2-year-old daughter, that when she was 9 months old, she got cast to play in a TV show for Peacock. It was the Friend of the Family thing. I don't know. It was a pretty big deal. She made like $1,000. She was 9 months old and brought in $1,000. And we had to take her 5 different times to Atlanta for the shooting. And she was only being that young. We had to get special clearance from the state for her to work and all that stuff. And she was only allowed to be out for no more than 4 hours a day, or it might have been 2 hours a day is all that she could work. And how much time between sets, between takes it took, I was just amazed with. That's got to be the way these found footage movies, that has to be the way to go, in my opinion, if you're going to make a movie, because they did the same scene probably 10 times with my daughter, but they would stop and move all the lights, put people in different positions, and do the exact same thing. And it would take like 30 minutes between sets. I mean, it was insane to see how much work actually goes into putting something on for television. And I gained a whole new respect for them for just that little bit that I was involved in it. And it sounds like the found footage movies is kind of the way to go. I just watched one yesterday, I think Willow Creek. If you guys are familiar with the Bigfoot movie.
Absolutely.
So, Joshua, from the time you decide you want to make this movie, that it's in your head, until the time that you are done, completely done, how long did that take?
I think me and the guys, I kind of, it kind of started with, I was watching, I believe, one of the Missing 401s actually, and another member of the Horror Dads, Dylan Brown. We're all in a big group chat together, so we talk to each other every day, all throughout the day. And I kind of asked him, because they were talking about hikers and people camping and stuff. I'm like, how legal is it to kind of just go off into a national park and camp and do that stuff? So we just kind of chatted a little bit about that. And then I started talking about, this idea that feral humans and everything like that exist and everything. And we kind of talked about it a little bit, and that's kind of where it started. And that was June of 2022. So just a little over a year ago. And I put the story together in my head. I wrote it down eventually. And I spent some time because I had to finish Mothman, and then we kind of promoted that. And I carried that into the fall, and I started picking up pre-production in January. And then from there, I think we launched the Kickstarter in March, and we started shooting early July. July 6th was our first day, and we wrapped, or June 6th, excuse me. And June 12th was the last day of shooting. So about a year it took, but the big heavy stuff was about 6 months of planning.
And the actual shooting was only about 6 days, you said, right?
Yeah, about 5 days. We killed a day traveling, but yeah, it was about 5 days.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I was interested to find, before we came on, I asked you about the actual where you shot and everything, because the story's based out of the Smoky Mountains, but you said y'all did most of your filming in North Georgia in the Blue Ridge Mountains, right?
Yes, we did. I think one thing I would do differently in the future would be give myself more time, because by the time I secured funding through the crowdfunding campaign, it didn't leave me a whole lot of options as far as locations go and things like that. And then I also needed to house, upwards of 10 people at a time. And I did want to shoot in Eastern Tennessee, actually not too far from Blue Ridge anyways, because I believe Blue Ridge is just right over the border there.
Yeah.
And we could not find anything that was suitable for us. So my assistant director, Laura Rodriguez, actually had a really good friend. His name is Travis. He appears in the movie as well. He has family in that area, and they kind of, took me on a virtual scouting operation, and I loved it. And there was, way more lodging opportunities for us there. So we just kind of settled with that. You gotta, sometimes when it comes, down to crunch time, you just gotta, get over it and, move locations and things. But I think it totally worked out because the locations that we got, matched my imagery that I wanted anyway. So it totally worked.
All right, we got our first question for you guys tonight. Mr. Carson asked Joshua and Hunter, do you believe the feral people to be fact or fiction, or a little of both? So I guess your personal beliefs in the feral people.
I mean, I guess I'll go first on this one, if you don't mind, Josh.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to anything. And I say that, coming from a guy that ran a paranormal investigation group at a private Catholic university where I went to college, I take everything kind of with a grain of salt. I look for explanations, I guess you could say. So, I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of unexplored wilderness in the United States. I mean, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of square miles of dense woods that have never, had a person ever there. So, I very well could be, I mean, there's been uncontacted people in the world today, on islands and stuff. So who knows? It's big country.
Very true.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, and I'm kind of, me and Hunter are almost kind of the opposite, right? So I love this stuff with a passion, and I do believe a lot of the things that a lot of stories that I've read and things like that. I believe in Bigfoot and everything like that as well. And yeah, feral humans, that's definitely something that I think is 100% possible, only because, some of these large sections of land are, uncharted, and we really don't know what's kind of going on in back there. And it does leave like a big question as to what's going on. So, and like Hunter said, like we're still finding, sections of populations of humans that are existing outside the boundaries of, normal society. So I think it's 100% plausible.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Josh. I have pulled up, this was a kind of a production. Can you see it, Josh?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you were telling me that you did that for the Kickstarter, right? That's kind of a production poster, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we put that together. It's got Hunter on there. It's got Dan Grogan. He plays Dr. Scott LaRoche, you saw from the trailer. He plays an anthropologist that has sort of dedicated his life to proving that, these sections of populations of humans exist and should be, either protected or observed. And then gal there, Dawn Becker. She is played by Anna Clary, and she's another lead actress. And in the story, she's actually a fitness influencer. So she has, a YouTube community that kind of follows her everywhere she goes. And she just recently lost her father. And one of his favorite locations was the Great Smoky Mountains. And, she decides to head into the woods and spread his ashes where he kind of wanted her to. And, she just kind of gets lost and caught up in the mess that Scott LaRoche and Ben Logan find themselves in. So,
Okay, so that's what I was kind of gonna ask Hunter to do a little bit of. You see that's you, Hunter. There, you play Ben Logan, correct?
Yep.
Now, without giving away, too much of the movie, because we want everyone to go out and watch the movie, but tell us a little bit about what happens in the movie. Again, don't give everything away, but just walk us through it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, an online video is found, released out there, which kind of sparks Dr. Scott LaRoche's curiosity to go out that way. He enlists my help. We go out in the woods and we get ourselves in a little bit of trouble, like Josh said. And there's just that dynamic with the people and other rangers and stuff like that kind of create a little bit of conflict in the story. And I mean, really goes from there, because of that video and the leak and him coming to me kind of first.
You play a park ranger, right?
I do. Yeah. I play a park ranger. Yep.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Yeah, we talked a little bit, Josh, before we got going about, I asked you if you mind going over like the financial aspect of making a movie. Because I know, myself included, a lot of people are interested in that. And is that something that you care to talk about a little bit about? I know that you had a Kickstarter to raise funding. How did that go? And just how does the financial side of making a movie work?
Yeah. So, crowdfunding is difficult. We see a lot of people super successful with it. I've been successful with it. But it is a lot of work. It's everyday dedication, right? You sharing, posting, sending it to friends and family, sending it to anybody that'll actually put their eyeballs on it. And also feel the same passion that you do about the project itself. So, it's a tedious task, but for young independent filmmakers, sometimes that's a necessity because we can't always, find the funding for that stuff because filmmaking can be kind of expensive if you don't have the resources at hand to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. And so that's basically where we were at when we started the Kickstarter campaign, crowdfunder. And we knew going in, so we had set a goal for about $3,000. And at that time, I was wanting to bring on other more private investors to kind of, bridge the gap there. But actually the Kickstarter blew up. It went from 3,000. And by the time we were done after 45 days, we had hit almost $9,000. And I was able to actually, I met somebody, his name is Louis Lavella. He is one of the producers on the movie as well. He came in and helped us out financially a little bit more too. So that was pretty awesome. And so we were able to, top the budget out at about 11 grand. And that covered everything. So, traveling costs for certain people flying in and out, booking the locations was tough. All the props, everything else that kind of goes into it, ate up the entire thing. So, it actually worked out really well. Because going in, you start a budget and you really don't know what to expect because anything can happen while you're on set. Anything at all. Like the worst of the worst. I already mentioned, that we had an actor miss his flight and we kind of had to impromptu Connor into the movie. And I think that worked out well. So certain things are blessings in disguise. But And sometimes you kind of go over budget. Sometimes, I'd put a little bit of my own money into certain aspects of things. But certainly, I feel like I spent more this time around on props and costumes and things for Woodman than I did, Mothman. But overall, I think we did well.
Now, you kind of mentioned that things can go wrong in the making of a movie. I'm assuming that you had to have some type of medical professionals like on set. Did you have to do that?
We did not, because it's kind of since we're not a Screen Actors Guild, we're not SAG or anything like that. We're not independent. We're not required for anything. But it did make me feel good because I do know that Hunter has a background in police work, and we knew that he was there. And I had a couple other people that were on set that I knew were CPR certified and first aid certified. So that helped because this was a pretty physical shoot for our actors and everybody involved because there was a lot of hiking and a lot of, fighting and struggling in certain scenes and things like that. So that was a concern. But when we go into it, obviously safety is 100% our main objective. But luckily enough, nobody got hurt on set and everybody was good.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Now you talked about having to find the actual place to do the shooting. Now, is that a national forest, the part that you were in? How do you go about securing that location? And did that cost anything, or were there permits involved, or did y'all just go out in the woods and start shooting?
Yeah, so it was all private land. So nothing was, we didn't have to secure any state permits or anything like that. There at we were really close actually to, I believe it's the Chattahoochee National Forest there. Yeah. And it was going to be a 90-day process for video for filming there anywhere on the premise. So that was kind of out of limits for us. So we ended up finding some private land that we were able to shoot on, and that kind of saved us time and money too, because those things can get kind of expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, Hunter, you can jump in and answer this one if you want to. I'm curious to how much research y'all went into this role, actually looking into feral people. And Josh told me earlier that it was hard to really do research on feral people because it usually turned into Bigfoot stuff. I mean, did you find that as a problem, Hunter, or did you do any research into feral people?
We just kind of discussed a lot of the stuff that we had heard or, maybe experienced watching other movies, kind of to inspire some of the ideas. In terms of my character, I guess speaking for me, the research I did, I just kind of, used and tapped into a lot of my law enforcement experience to gain the personality I wanted in this movie. And then I would take inspiration from characters I really like seeing on TV. Shane Welsh from The Walking Dead, John Bernthal plays that character. I tried to inspire a little bit of my character after him just because I wanted to be a little bit more standoffish with the idea. My character has a large arc over multiple movies, and the more it goes on, the harder my character gets in terms of who he is and his personality. So any research that came from that just kind of came from experience in my own personal life. But I, just in terms of feral humans, just inspirations from stories we may have heard, campfire stories, or other movies that might have something similar to that concept and idea.
Okay, Joshua, same question, buddy. How did you find the research into feral humans? How did that go for you?
Yeah, like I said, it was it's kind of difficult to try to decipher between what people really experience. There's some that are straight up witnessed this person, very human-like creature, off in the distance. Didn't seem to really. I personally couldn't find too many stories where people had full on interactions with feral humans. But just me, my negligence in, or not my negligence, um, my research skills may be lacking there in resources as far as where to actually look for this stuff. So, and yeah, like you said too, a lot of it seemed to boil down, like the debate always, started going off into the Bigfoot realm, and that's kind of what I wanted to stay away from. It's an idea that we play with, obviously, in the beginning of the film, that you know our two characters, Connor Flynn playing himself basically, and Bailey Harrington playing Lana Haywood, that they are Bigfoot researchers, going out into the wilderness, trying to figure out what's going on, and maybe some of the disappearances in that area recently had something to do with, Sasquatch. And, as the movie unfolds, we kind of realize that it's something a little bit more human. So, yeah, yep, go ahead.
Yeah, we got another question for you from Carson. And I was going to ask this one, but he beat me to it. Was there any strange things that went on during filming?
There was a bear incident.
Yeah, we did. Well, not very strange. We did encounter a bear at our lodging that I had to scare off. But strange, no. And I kind of wanted something to happen, to be honest with you, because I'm always a fan of like wanting to experience things myself.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think we had too many people on set traipsing through the woods at the same time. And if there was anything out there watching us, it was keeping its distance. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it was just not the bears. They didn't keep their distance.
No, not them. Not them.
That's all right.
There were certain things, that made us a little leery, because one day we showed up to film an extended night scene, and one of the guys on set, Travis, I mentioned earlier, that's from that area, kind of saw evidence of maybe, big cats rooting around in the dirt and everything like that. So that made us a little leery, but nothing supernatural, unnatural, nothing that scared the hell out of us.
Okay, very cool. Cool. Yeah, Josh, you and I spoke a little bit about the Dennis Martin case before we came on, and my audience knows how fascinated I am with that case and just how tragic it is. And you said that's actually mentioned a couple of times in the movie, right? Y'all talk about the Dennis Martin case.
Yeah, Connor brings it up a little bit, and it's sort of the story that Scott LaRoche kind of springboards off of, kind of heading into it.
Okay, what are your personal thoughts on the Dennis Martin case?
Yeah, so I personally do think that is one of the situations in which feral people were involved. It doesn't sound to me personally like a Bigfoot story, because some of the characteristics are out of what you normally see with Bigfoots, right? So, just the fact that they were abducting a child, I think. I couldn't imagine maybe why Sasquatch would do it, right? So, the idea that maybe a feral human clan was bringing somebody, into their own makes a little bit more sense for me. That helps at all.
Hunter, do you have any thought on the Dennis Martin case?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with Josh. I haven't looked into it as much as probably a lot of people here are familiar with, but just the basic grasp that I have of it, I just have to agree. Most of what I learned from was Connor and a few other people having conversations about it while on set, and then just a couple little articles here and there.
And Martin case until I started looking into Bigfoot, and that's all people really want to. It's the Bigfoot people that talk about the case, and the more you look into the case, the more you think Bigfoot probably didn't have anything at all to do with it. You know, the Key family from miles away saw this, as Mr. Key described it, an unkept man with something over his shoulder running up the hill, you know, and
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't think, just my personal opinion, you know what people say about opinions. All right. Where can we find the movie at, guys? Is it out yet?
It is not. We are currently seeking distribution for it right now. So, my producer Louie, he's kind of taking the reins here and hunting down some leads for us to maybe hit some decent streaming platforms with it soon. I'd like to have something secured by the end of September. So I think we'll have a better idea come October when. I'd like a release sometime late November. I know we kind of discussed a October release date, but personally, I feel as though that is a time where the market is just saturated with every other filmmaker wanting to release something during the Halloween season, right? So we kind of want to back off a little bit on that and give everybody something to watch around Thanksgiving time.
Okay. How does, if you don't mind, tell us how that process works. That's something I'm interested in. You put in the time and the money to make this movie, and you've got it all done and ready. What is that next step to get it in front of people? How does that work?
Basically, we just submit the film to distribution companies, and they give us, a yay or nay, really. It's up to them whether it's a movie that they feel like their company can stand behind. And once, the process begins, they sort of put together a contract, and they say, basically, this is what we're going to do for you. This is how much we're going to invest in as a company to help promote the film sometimes. Other distribution companies don't. I worked with indie rights for Mothman, and they don't help with any type of marketing. So sometimes that's something that's left up to the filmmaker themselves to get their own movie out there once it hits platforms. And for indie filmmakers and things, probably the most that we could get would be to get on a good, decent handful streaming platforms, because that's what exists now. I think a lot of these companies are finding that, DVD and Blu-ray production, unless you've got millions of dollars, worth of just play money, I guess, selling physical media just really doesn't seem to be something they're interested in. But getting the film out there on streaming seems to be, the easiest, quickest way to get it into, to the masses. It's generally a process that can take anywhere from 6 months to a year once you sign a contract, because filmmakers have to get their film together and also package it together most of the time. Indie film distribution companies want you to put together, like your captions. That's all done separately. Music tracks and things like that. And sometimes they require documentation as far as location releases, actor releases, and things like that. So nobody can come back and say that I didn't, approve of this or that. So a lot of that is obtained. And once all that's said and done, they generally work with what we call film aggregators that work with distribution or streaming platforms like Tubi, for instance, is a big one. And once the distribution company submits those films to these aggregators, then it can take, like I said, anywhere from 6 months to a year for, our movies to show up. Some more popular streaming platforms can actually help land actual release dates just because they're established. But most of the time, like indie rights, they told me, they're like, hey, we're live on Amazon, or Amazon gave us the thumbs up. So it can be any day now, which is usually how it goes, kind of. So it's a lengthy process, once we sign the contract, because most of the time these distribution companies give you only anywhere from 60 to 90 days to prepare everything you have. So it gets ultra crunched to get everything done and submitted. And a lot of the times they want you to mail in a SSD that's got all this information on there. So not only have to get it all together, you have to mail it all out to them, and hopefully it gets there. in suitable order. It's nerve wracking, but once everything's good to go and the green light's bright, it's an exciting feeling.
No, I bet. I bet. Now, the movie, your previous movie was Mothman, correct?
Yes.
Where can we find it? Like who ended up with it?
Yep. So Indie Rights distributed it, like I said. It is currently available now on Tubi for free with ads. I believe it's on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, free with ads. It's on Amazon to rent or buy. And I believe it's going to be hitting other platforms in the future. Like I said, that can take a long time too. So it's kind of just whenever I notice it popping up other places. You know, Plex is another one that Indie Rights seems to put a lot of their stuff on. So right now, I mean, Amazon and Tubi are good. And, you know, that reaches, you know, a wide audience. So that's helpful.
Yeah. Now, places like Tubi that you said it's free with advertisements. How do y'all make money off of that?
You know, that's an interesting question. That kind of is a question more for a distribution company, because I believe you're paid per view, obviously. And, you know, I've heard things, you know, about like Tubi, like a person, you know, a typical viewer has to watch a movie on Tubi for more than 20 minutes before it could count towards, you know, the filmmaker or the distribution company.
I didn't know
and they kind of make money off of, you know, the ads that the viewers are watching. So I think right now too, that's a big topic that, you know, indie filmmakers like to discuss, because, you know, back years before streaming, you know, we kind of laughed and joked at, you know, piracy and things like that. But, you know, piracy is a real thing for, you know, indie filmmakers, because we make our money off of those ads. I mean, that's what, you know, that's where we are earning our keep for these films in that way. So if somebody's, you know, streaming, ripping them off of like Tubi and things like that, you know, that's a big concern for us, you know. So, you know, all these ad-based channels and things like that, that's basically where everything lies, is in, you know, watching ads on these streaming platforms.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way. I'm a podcaster, obviously. I mean, we'll take this, what we're talking about tonight, and then I'll upload it and release it to podcast form. And I have a much, much larger audience in podcast than I do on YouTube. And you get the people every once in a while that complain about the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one guy said, you know, podcasting is free. Why do you have to put ads in it? How the hell is podcasting free? I mean, all this equipment I've got right here. Well, I mean, did somebody give it to me?
Yeah.
The monthly fee that it costs to get out. I mean, podcasting is not free, and by any means. That's how we make our money, you know.
Yeah.
And people complain about this free content that they're getting that they're not having to pay a dime for, but they've got to stop every 20 minutes, which happens to be twice in an episode, to listen to like 3 ads.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And most of the time you can skip them after 10 seconds.
Absolutely. Yeah. And podcast, you don't need to wait 10 seconds. You just start fast forward and gives you the option to skip 30 seconds ahead. You know, just do it and shut up. You know? Hunter, what's next for you, buddy? You got anything on the horizon?
Yeah, I've got a few things that had popped up just over the course of the last week. Just like little appearances in a couple movies, Michigan and Ohio. And then Josh and I have one coming later this year, I think. A few other things maybe, or at least sometime in the future. I'm actually directing my own. I can't tell you exact day or date, but I know that it's a big collaboration between everybody at Horror Dads to want to get something that I've been working on and that we've all been working on for quite a while. So it'll be kind of not really my directorial debut, but it'll be my first feature that I'm going to step into a little bit of different of a role. I'm going to still act in it, but where I will help direct alongside these guys too. So that's definitely something. So I'm busy. I'm very busy with a lot of things coming up.
That's exciting, man. Good deal. What about you, Josh? What's coming up in the future?
Yeah, so we are. I'm personally working on something on the side. Can't discuss anything about it really right now, but
Why
that's
stop?
going to take up. That's going to take up my September and October, and I'm kind of leave the end of the year open so I could focus on promoting Woodman, and then next year I want to jump actually into pre-production for Woodman Part 2.
Oh, so there's going to be a sequel. Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Do you, I guess either of you, do you see yourselves working on anything Sasquatch related in the future?
Yeah, oh yeah. Are you familiar with Tahoe Joe?
I'm not, no.
That's a Horror Dads production movie made by one of our associates, Dylan Brown. Blew up on a lot of social media platforms for a little bit. It's currently located on Tubi, probably the easiest place to find it and watch it. He's doing a part 2 for that, so
It's
the movie's called
Tahoe Joe.
Yep.
Okay. All right. What about you, Josh?
No, I'm going to be actually Hunter and I are going to be helping on Tahoe Joe Part 2, and Hunter will be reprising his role as Ben Logan on that movie as well.
Sweet. Very cool.
I played Ben Logan in just about everything I act in, so almost everything.
Yeah, the actual character Ben Logan, or a character similar to Ben Logan?
No, just all of our movies are connected from the Horror Dads, what we do. In one way, shape, or form. Common connection right now is my reoccurring character of Ben Logan. There are obviously other movies I've been in where I'm not Ben Logan, but that's just kind of like the staple we make a joke about. How many found footage movies am I going to reprise my role as this character with all this stuff we've got going on in our heads? And
yeah, we want to break the bad Ben. What is it? I think same characters up to like 13 times in one movie or in a series. So
yeah, he's my competition.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, looking back, Josh, on everything that the first 2 movies that you've made, what have you learned from those movies, and is there anything that you would do differently? Like someone starting out wanting to make movies, what advice would you give them? What to do and what to try not to do?
I would first and foremost say take your time. Don't rush anything. Do what you're passionate about, and then kind of go from there. Don't worry about the tiny little details because they will become super consuming. They'll take over, but don't ever lose sight of your vision. And as long as you can maintain that and make an orderly film, don't also worry about having to make it this big grandstanding production, right? Like you don't need to do 30, 40 people involved. You don't need to work for 2 weeks at a time. You don't need to, you could space it out a little bit. I've been fortunate enough to be able to knock mine out in a row, but I appreciate the people who do have the chances to kind of work around their own schedule as well. So just don't confine yourself to certain things, and you'll be good.
Okay. All right, Hunter, same question to you, but obviously actor based, like someone that wants to start acting and get into this. What would you tell them to do?
Just audition anything. Audition everything. Expect to be told no, but don't let that eat you alive. I mean, I'm not the best actor in the world, but I've been fortunate enough to be in the movies I have been and the movies I'm going to be in. And I'm 27, so it can happen at any point in life, whether you're 27, 9 months old, or in your 60s. Just don't give up on it and have fun doing it, and step out of your comfort zone a little bit, because I'm a very reserved guy. A lot of that comes from law enforcement and all that, all the bad stuff I had to experience with then. So I'm not like a super outgoing guy all the time, but I definitely step out of my comfort zone to accomplish anything, and just don't give up, because there are going to be people, no matter how many people love you, there are going to be people that hate you and people that don't like you. So it doesn't matter what people think. I'm doing it for me, and hopefully I can make a huge career out of it one day. That's the goal, and I can take care of my family and friends of mine and the company and keep going. So just don't give up and be yourself.
Very cool. Great advice. We're right here at the hour mark. And that's where we usually cut it off. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to plug anything that you want to plug. I know we've been talking about the Woodman, but if you guys have any social media or anything else that you're working on that you want people to go and check out, now is it's a chance to do that. And it's either one of the companies.
Josh, I'll let you kick off that one.
Yeah, so anybody can find me on anything. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Super easy. Everything's usually just JD Brucker or Joshua Brucker.
Same.
Okay.
I mean, social media, I don't care. I accept a lot of people that want to be my friend and talk, and it doesn't matter to me. I'm a pretty nice guy. And, Horror Dads Productions, look out for our movies. They're all connected. We call it the Cryptid verse. So Mothman, Tahoe Joe, the Woodman, the movies continue on for a while, especially with ideas. And just we can do that, and just keep going from there, really.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, if there's any links or anything you guys want to share when we get done, just make sure you send those to me. And when I upload it to podcast, I'll make sure to add that so people can check you out.
Yeah,
All right, guys. I want to take the opportunity to thank you for spending an hour with me, coming and answering some questions and hanging out. I appreciate it, guys.
Hey, it was really fun. I appreciate you having me on. Sorry, I'm so tired, man. That nap was crazy. One of the best
Yeah,
naps
no problem. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, very good, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, thank you so much.
Sounds good.
All right. There you go. Never really know what kind of questions to ask people that aren't like specifically in the cryptid realm. So I hope I did okay asking movie type questions, but the movie really does look good. Been talking to these guys for a little while now, trying to get everything set up for them to come on, and I'm definitely gonna check it out when it comes when it's released. And y'all go check out Mothman, his first movie. He said it was on Tubi. So just try to help the people out that take the time to come on and spend a little time with us on these nights that we do this. So if y'all would check that out, I would appreciate it. All right, guys, that is it for another episode of Paranormal Odyssey Live. Thank you so much. Those of you that hung out, questions, participation from the chat, I appreciate it, guys. Numbers weren't up there like they are, but that's what we found Friday nights. That's why we took them off of Friday nights, because more people watch them on the other nights. So, yeah, we kind of expected that. All right, I'll be back Tuesday with another guest, another live show, and I will see you guys then. Y'all take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And I'll see you next time.